don't know about you, but when I'm reading through the Gospels, I'll go Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and I think, is this the same story when I get to John as the other three? Is it the same Jesus? He seems to talk a lot more, and it seems to be a whole different world in some ways. But John is reflecting more. He seems to be explaining more than the others. Perhaps it's quite likely he's writing later than the other three for lots of it, and he's putting some of the stories perhaps in that he remembers and that he considers to be important, and it gives us actually a really wonderful fresh look, and he has his own agenda in terms of what he wants to teach us about what is happening in and through Jesus that actually complements the other three really well. When a book starts in the beginning, which is what John does, instantly, for any of his readers of that time, and for anyone who knows the Bible at all now, you instantly think of the creation. You think of Genesis 1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And in this one he says, in the beginning was the Word. Now, why is John doing that? Why is he putting our minds back to that? Because actually, one of the major themes of John's Gospel is of the new creation. The new creation. So God is doing something in the life of Jesus and the work of Jesus and the death and the resurrection of Jesus. What's happening here is so world-shatteringly, mind-blowingly important that the only thing that we can compare it to in the whole of history, all of the miracles and all of those great people that have gone before us, and all of the Exodus and the miracles of Elijah and all of the things that have happened in the past, all of the great moments, the rule of David, and all of these things, that they don't compare to what is happening in and through Jesus. So the only thing we can compare it to is the actual creation itself, when everything that wasn't has suddenly came into being and God spoke and things were. This is a new creation account, because what is happening in and through Jesus is a new moment in world history, in the history of the universe, in fact, and it's only can be compared to the first, to the in the beginning. And so this is an incredibly important thing. Even in the creation week, in the story of Jesus's Passion Week, you know, if you think about the creation week, on day 6 of creation, God makes man. Okay? On day 6 of the Passion Week, Good Friday, Pilate says in John, "Behold the man, the man." This is the man, and the man at that moment is Jesus. And you know, Jesus, Paul says that Jesus is the new Adam. So there's these parallels here. On day 7 of the creation week, God rests. On day 7 of Jesus' Passion Week, the Saturday, Jesus rests in the grave. And then, Resurrection Sunday, John starts day 8, if you like, by saying in chapter 20, verse 1, he just says, on the first day of the week. On the first day of the week. I want to suggest that John's not just saying it's a Sunday. He's saying this is the new day of the next week of creation. The first day of the new creation week. So that's how important this is. This is the new day. This is the moment that a new breed of people are coming into the earth, who are being sent round this world to make a difference, to transform the earth. John tells a story about Mary, Martha, Lazarus, and Jesus. Lazarus is ill. This is the family where Jesus will stay at their house in Bethany because they live just on the edge of Jerusalem. He'll go and stay there. These are his mates whenever he visits Jerusalem. And so, but Lazarus is ill, and Mary and Martha send for Jesus, and Jesus doesn't come for a few days. By that time, Lazarus has been dead for a few days. So when he arrives, they're angry with him, and they say, if you'd have come earlier, you know, you could have healed him and he wouldn't have died. Jesus says to them, your brother will rise again. And they respond by saying, I know he'll rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Jesus responds, so they've got this idea that a lot of Jewish people believed at that time, that in this event at the end of the age called the resurrection, or some people call it the day God will restore all things, or the new heavens and new earth, that on this day called the resurrection, that's when righteous people will rise from the dead and be judged and will reign with God in this new creation. So that's what Mary and Martha believe. We know he'll rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Jesus responds to her by saying, I am the resurrection and the life. So just think about what that's doing to their minds. They've just said, I know that my brother will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. And then this man who stays at their house sometimes, who's obviously pretty special, but he's still a man, he looks at them and he says, that's me. I am the resurrection. I am the future that is going to happen to this world. I'm here now visiting you and showing you what is to come. I am the resurrection and the life. So what's going to happen in Jesus is not just the most important thing since the creation, but it's a glimpse of what is to come when God will restore all things. So when Jesus rises from the dead, his body is not thrown away and then God makes him a new one and puts Jesus' spirit into that. But God takes that body, broken, battered, full of the sin of the earth, and he heals it and he restores it, and then Jesus takes on this new mode of being, which is a glimpse for us of what it'll be like for us in our future. The resurrection has not happened to anyone else, only to Jesus. So, when Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead in that story, Lazarus will die again. Jesus will never die again. So the resurrection has happened once, and it's a glimpse of what is to come. Not just for us as people, we'll rise again, but for the whole of this creation that we've messed up. God is not going to just throw it away and start again with something new. He is going to restore it and heal it, just like he did. And the scars of Jesus' sacrifice were still there in his resurrection body. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to restore all things. And that's what John is teaching us in his gospel.